What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Swirly Plays, and it is finally time for my favorite videos that I do all year round. It is our third annual Swirly Plays Game of the Year series of videos, we're just going to call it this year. So in the past, I did one in 2021, and I believe it was just a top 10 video of the whole top 10, all as one video, nice and clean. Last year, I realized I played exactly 20 games. So I did a 20 through 11 and then a 10 through 1 video. So 2 videos last year. We're gonna do a lot more of those this year. It is December 19th already as I record this. So this is gonna go into 2024. I'm almost positive. I don't know what my upload schedule for this is gonna be just yet, but I don't wanna get too much into the weeds. I'm just gonna explain what we're doing today. So this year I played 27 different brand new games that came out in 2023, which is insane. And that's not even counting, like I played some, like the first game in a series of sequels that I played that you guys will hear me talk about later on in this series. I played a lot of video games this year and it was really great. A lot of great games came out this year. So what today is going to be is kind of what my honorable mentions for the year are going to be, because I'm still going to ultimately have like a top 20, but I did rank all 27 games that I played this year. So this video is going to be 27 through 21. So like my bottom 7 games I like the least this year. And I'm also going to add in at the very end a couple games that to kind of like set expectations. There's a few games I just did not get around to this year that I really would have loved to have played, that I, you know, time, money, whatever, mostly time, I just never got around to, that I'm sure would have made the top 20 or at least been in contention for it, but I just, like I said, never got around to it. So then after this, my plan was to do a like advent calendar of my top 20. So each day was going to have like, this is the video for number 20, then 19, then 18, like one at a time. I still think I'm going to do that, but I might do multiple videos going up at a time, depending on how quickly I get these done. I've written my script for the whole thing, except the top 2 games. I really got a lot to say about those, which obviously they're my 2 favorite of the year. But I'm at like, my script is over 12,000 words without the top 2 games on it. So I wrote a ton of stuff to say. And I think that's just what I'm going to do this year. We're going to still do individual videos for the top 20. Upload schedule might have multiple at a time. Who's to say? Because I still want it to take 3 weeks from now would put us well into the new year, which is fine, but I don't know. I'm getting in my head about it. None of that matters. Right now, 27 through 21 are runner-ups. And at the very end, some games I wish I would have got to this year. So let me know down in the comments. Have you played any of these games? Do you think it's crazy that some of these didn't even make my top 20? Did you like them more? Did you like them less? What games did you not get to this year? I would love to hear about it in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into it. I'm a huge fan of board games, and the game that my then girlfriend and now wife Tiff showed me that got me into them was Settlers of Catan. Hardcore board game lovers tend to look down on Catan a bit, but I love it. When I saw they were making a version of Catan I could play on my PS5, I didn't expect anything groundbreaking, but I was excited to try it. Like most board game adaptations into video games, including a future entry on this list, it's just not the same as playing in person, rolling real dice, making real trade offers against your friends or family, and really getting mad when no one will just trade you a goddamn brick so you can finally build a road. I played this for about an hour or so when I realized I just needed to stick to the way it was intended to play it instead. I was a day 1 player of Destiny 2, and I was an everyday player for months at launch. I had fallen off for a while because it's so hard to jump back in once you've missed out on content. Plus, the parts of the game I had loved before had even been removed while Bungie made room for the new content. Josh from Adjective Noun Gaming and I decided we'd jump back in with the new expansion, Lightfall, that came out this year. It's still Destiny, it feels amazing to play, the guns are all so good, and the monsters you're fighting are fun. We never got back into it after that one night we played it and sort of just drifted off into space for me, waiting for the day I decided to jump back in. That day isn't today. Much like Destiny 2, I used to be absolutely obsessed with the Assassin's Creed franchise. I remember when I got my 360, one of the first games I played was the first Assassin's Creed that I borrowed from my cousin Nick. I was hooked right away, especially with the Ezio games. Black Flag was my favorite, but Unity was when I completely dropped off of the series. When Assassin's Creed Mirage was announced as a classic take on the Assassin's Creed formula, I was so pumped. Unfortunately, something about this game just feels off. Every moment feels so slow and clunky, the desert areas of Baghdad just all blend together, and I hope it's a problem with just this game, and that not in today's standard those games I love won't hold up if I ever go back to them someday. One of the perks of having a PlayStation Plus Premium account this year was that I got to try out Humanity at no additional cost. A fun puzzle game, Humanity involved leading a group of mannequins essentially through a path to a goal. Simple concept that grows and grows into some very complicated puzzles apparently. I dabbled in this game during a time of the year with a lot of other big games around that I didn't get to play as much of this game as I would have liked. I really enjoyed my time with it. Now, I know this is very low on my list and would be very easy to be part of the cult of people going out of their way to hate on this game more than they would other games. I don't want to do that. I just thought Starfield wasn't a game for me. That's more of a Bethesda issue than this game specifically, however. Even games that have been more critically loved like Skyrim and Fallout didn't really click with me either. I played one 4-hour session of Starfield the week it came out, and in those 4 hours, I did have a blast playing a mission involving an alien monster on the loose, and you have to get to some generators to turn on the defense system. It was genuinely thrilling, and if there was more missions like that, I'm sure I would like those parts of this game. General Bethesda RPG formula just isn't for me, and I'm happy for those who love it. I'd never played a Metroid game before, so when Nintendo Shadow dropped a remaster of the first Metroid Prime, I was shocked but pumped to try it out. My first few hours I really enjoyed. When I realized how much backtracking and remembering of what paths were blocked by what power-ups I would eventually get that I would be doing, I fell off pretty quickly. This is the first disappointment on my list this year for me. I really was hoping this could be a top 10 contender for me this year, but I just don't like games like this, it turns out. Our first game on the list that could have ended up higher if I had started playing it sooner is Chia, a beautiful island exploration game that actually has more elements similar to Breath of the Wild than you'd think. This game is inspired by the island of New Caledonia, which is near Australia and New Zealand. It is just absolutely bursting with charm and character, carefully crafted by just 12 people at Awakad. I might be saying that wrong. I started this game just a week ago as I write the script, and I'm sure it would have cracked my top 15 if I had been able to play it more. In a stacked 2023, this is so impressive from a game made by so few people. There are my honorable mentions for 2023. Most of them were just, I didn't play it a whole lot, or they were kind of like meh. Not really a ton that I was like, I hate this game, to be honest with you, which shows how great of a year it was this year, that I didn't play any true duds this year. They're just mostly stuff that didn't click with me. Okay, so I have 4 games that I really planned on playing that I did not play, that I kind of wanted to give, like, even further honorable mention. Just a mention, I guess. So the first big one is Pikmin 4. I never really had any interest in it when it came out. I believe it was this summer. But I've just heard so many great things about that game, about how fun and charming and like satisfying the loop is of playing them. I've never played a Pikmin game before, but I feel like that's the one for me to pick up at some point. And especially people with kids, a lot of great stuff out there for Pikmin 4 that I guarantee would have been a top 15 at least if I would have played that this year. The other big one, and Josh, I'm sorry, I just didn't get around to it by the time I needed to record these videos, is Dave the Diver. I just ran out of time, and I picked a couple smaller games that I was able to finish like in one sitting versus playing Dave the Diver, because it ended up being like, from what I looked up, it's like a 25-hour game. Like, it's pretty beefy. And by the time December rolled around, like, I'm already so late on making these videos that I just didn't have the time to dive into that one. But I really want to. It's a fun, it's like 2D Subnautica, I've heard it described as. Like, you go down and do a bunch of fishing, but then you also run a restaurant, and like the game just kind of keeps building on what it like has to offer and different activities. It looks awesome. Heard great things about it. Just did not get to play it this year. The next two might be more under the radar. The first one is Chants of Sennaar. It is a puzzle game where you are like learning a language that's baked into the game, but the way you learn them is a lot of like intricate puzzles. And it's got a lot of really cool, smart like design, and like the art style just looks really cool. It's just like a wild game that like makes you think as a way to like lead you by example. Like, it just like clues in the environments and stuff kind of lead you along. I love that stuff when it's not just here's a waypoint, go there. Like, I like that when it comes to puzzle games. And apparently it's really good. Giant Bomb rated it very highly. I've heard a lot of great things. Again, just ran out of time. And the last one I haven't heard anybody else really talk about, but it's actually Palia, I think it's Palia. Shout out to my brother Brandon. He had told me about this game. It's like a farming sim that I believe is now on Switch, but it was on PC as well, and I think it's in early access, so I think it's free actually too. I have it downloaded on my PC. We just never got around to playing it. We were supposed to play it for a stream. Again, just kind of got away from us, but those are my 4 mentions, we'll just call them, of things I didn't get to play this year, but I really wish I would have. All right, well, the next video you'll see is our number 20 entry on this list. Again, each entry is going to be its own video. You might start see, maybe 1 or 2 of these, maybe 2 or 3 to start off, go up at one time. It really just depends on how quickly I get these up and ready. If anything, I can promise the top 10 will be daily. So we're not going to double up for the top 10, because those are some really, really heavy hitters there. But 20 through 11, I might double up on some days just to try to get through them a little quicker. But just stay tuned to the channel. They'll be going up very, very shortly. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please sure like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at SwirlyGames. Follow me on Twitch and TikTok at SwirlyStreams. Until next time, listen to my dad. I'll see you with our 20th game of 2023.